all present here. We are back with the next session. I hope you all had a fulfilling lunch, and so is my expectations are higher that you are active during the further discussions and will actively participate in the discourse. We are moving ahead with the panel discussion 3. The topic is about AI, IoT and wearables. Users information sharing for enhanced security. We have moderators and the panel members again here. I would like to invite the moderators and the panel members, and I would request you to come up on the stage and take a seat on the dais as I brief about your expertise. The moderator of the session is Colonel Dr. Inderjeet Singh Barara, DG CSAI. A huge round of applause for sir. Colonel Inderjeet, former MI13 director, leads Cyber Sleuths Cybersecurity Center with over 30 years of expertise. Certified in data management and cyber law, he is committed to innovation in security, exemplified by his leadership in information security and smart cities. We have 4 panel members, out of which unfortunately one couldn't join us today, Mr. Avanish Pathak. So we have 3 panel members. I would like to call upon Mr. Arijit Vishwas, founder Wojik AI. Mr. Arijit, a tech entrepreneur, pioneers Wojik AI, revolutionizing CCTV footage utilization for smarter, safer spaces. With an MBA in strategy and leadership, he brings expertise in entrepreneurship, product management, and team leadership. So I welcome you to the dais.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Subhendu Chakraborty, Cyber Technical Advisor, EDCI. He is experienced in cyber security for government agencies, specializing in cybercrime investigation and digital forensics. Certified in CISA and CISSP, adept in IT auditing, compliance and risk analysis across public and private sector. I welcome you, sir. Last but not the least, we have Lieutenant Colonel Vipin Bhatia, CEO, Hatfield, India. With over 35 years in investigations and a background in the Army, Colonel Bhatia leads cybersecurity and digital forensics for aviation, corporates and government sectors. As Director of the World Association of Detectives, he fosters global investigate partnerships. I welcome you, sir, to the dais. Over to you, moderators. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, ICI, for inviting us here. And wonderful, since morning, great discussions on the security aspect, whether it's the physical security, national security, information warfare. And this panel, in fact, has something which is very futuristic and very important for all of us to discuss, the security which concerns us. And while we talk of AI, we are all affected by it. We are always seeing the good part of AI, but today we are going to be talking the bad part of AI, right? We are talking about the AI security, AI vulnerabilities. We'll try and break up, because there are 3 parts to it. One is the AI, second is the IoT, and third is the wearables. So we'll break it up so that you understand it better. To begin and set the stage and context, right? How many of you have got an MG Hector car? MG Hector. This is one of the, yeah, fantastic. It's the most sellable car, I believe. Yes. Yeah. It's connected to internet. Yeah. It says there's a USB. You get everything. You get all the details.
Indian connection also now.
Yeah, Indian connection also, and you have the internet 24/7. Gives you all the details which you like.
Because of Mahindra,
yeah. So Mahindra is great, but there's something to it. I'd like to add to that. It's a Chinese component car, and Chinese in 2017 came up with a policy, that cybersecurity policy, which is a very strict policy, saying that any company which makes a hardware or the software, right, has to have give a backdoor to Chinese Communist Party, CCP. And any company which doesn't follow it, they will have to shut the shop, and lots of companies had to shut the shop later. MG Hector, when they have transferred it, so believe you me, Last year I wrote an article on it. There was a lot of noise. There's a device in the car, if you know, which connects to the internet, and you cannot take it out, right? And when I say car, there's got sensors. So the sensors are nothing else, they're IoT devices. And the information which you're getting is AI, right? Artificial intelligence. So both things are merged together. And it is sending the information back, not to Indian servers, maybe to the servers linked to China. So you've got to be there with a pinch of salt when you're using all these technologies. Now let me take to the next two odd examples, pretty interesting for all of you. We talk of generative AI, ChatGPT, everybody's aware of it. Okay. Last month there was a company in UK. They lost 25 million, and you would have read through. And how did they lose it? They were all deep fakes which were made, and the CFO was made to believe that the people who are there on the other side are the members of the company. And he was made to transfer 25 million. Right? That's a welcome to the world of deep fakes. You cannot identify whether this is actuals or not. The third scenario, we are talking of drones, right? And drones with the facial recognition, sensors, location, those are again the sensors with the IoT devices, with the AI, facial recognition, you put any security, physical security in place, they're all going to fail. You can kill any person with precision with just a 3 mm bullet and on the head. All securities fail. That's again the third part of the AI. We all gaga over the driverless cars, okay? And driverless cars are good for us to be used, but can you think of if a driverless car is being used for crime as a getaway vehicle? Has anybody thought of it? It's all possible, right? What is there? It's all AI, it's all IoT sensors, okay? And you can do nothing about it. The fourth example rather, is your robots. We talk of all the robots. And in US, generally you started getting robots which are home robots made to cut vegetables. And you train the robot to cut the vegetable. Now you hack into that robot, okay? And because he's being trained to chop, he can chop the person. So it's all possible, and this is what we are going to be talking of, the AI vulnerabilities, the AI threats which are happening. So while we are seeing the good part of AI, we have the challenges part of AI as well, right? And it's the world of AI versus AI. Whether it's the army, whether it's the defense, whether it's the civil world, the security world, it's all going to be AI versus AI, right? So with this, I will open up the discussions with my panelists, first to the Arijit, as to what's your views on the AI, IoT, and the wearables from a security perspective.
Thank you so much, sir, for the great introduction, and thank you to the community for organizing this wonderful event. AI, I've been a tech entrepreneur for more than 8 years now, and have been using IoT as a lever to help businesses digitize their operations. And in that realm, AI, IoT has been very close to my heart. So we should consider AI as our friend, but then a friend who can turn also into an enemy. So we need to have checks and balances. We need to be aware, right? Keep your friends closer. There's a saying, right? Keep your enemies closer, right? So you need to be aware of what AI can do and how AI can go wrong against you. So the best way to do this is to make yourself more informed. Read about it. Think about it whenever you are doing something. I tell my mom as well, right? My dad got duped because of re-KYC, Paytm 3 years back, 40,000. And after that, my mom said, I don't need a credit card. And she was very aware of, she didn't want to even use a smartphone for the longest time. So I told her, what can go wrong? Read about it. You watch YouTube, read about it. And then also logically ask yourself, is this actually true or not? If somebody is saying, I'll make you money 100% return within 1 day using some algo trading, is that even possible or not? If that was possible, why would he share the secret with you? Won't he loan out the money from a bank at 7% or 8% and make that 100% within a day? Why is he sharing that information with you, right? So we should all be asking ourselves logically that at the end of the day, AI is something which has been trained by humans on human action, human data. So is it possible for the human to do this or not? If the answer is logically yes, then you should be okay with using a technology. If you feel the answer is no, then you should ask for help around. Right? A lot of times we might not know, but there's somebody else in the room or in our friends and family network who might know. So seek help. There is no shame in asking for help. That's what I say to my mom. My mom was like, "Arey, tum nahi rahoge, to fir main kisse puchungi?" So I said, ask anyone, ask our neighbor, right? So what's wrong? There are a lot of things we have learned from you when we were a kid. There is no dearth of learning. You should also learn from us as we grow up. That's the first aspect, that there are human beings. We should all be aware of the surroundings. Try to read as much as possible and learn from other people's experiences and share the experiences with others as well. A lot of times, like I give back to my dad's example, he was very hesitant of sharing this thing that he got duped of 40,000 rupees via this KYC scam with his friends. He said, yeah, embarrassment ho jayega, and he is a CA. Right? He has been a GM of NTPC Finance before he retired. He said, what will people think? I am a finance person and I got duped. Right? I said, there is no harm. Share this information with others. Your money is anyways gone. People will not be judging you for it. But at least somebody else might not get duped because of your experience in the future. That's why share things around you. There is no harm in sharing, as long as it's not privacy related, of course. And as people who are making technologies, I would say, make technologies with having checks and balances in place, and always have a human in the loop. Right? People say that automation. If you think OpenAI today or ChatGPT today is automation, it was not automation 5 years back. There was a human in the loop, and there is still human in the loop. And in YouTube, when you upload a video, there are people sitting in India, Bangladesh, and other parts of the world who look at those videos, filter out, moderate those content, and if that content is not appropriate, they flag it out on the YouTube video that gets taken down. So human in the loop, while if you're making technology, don't think technology will do everything autonomous, but have a human in the loop who will probably be a safeguarding, checks and balances, and help you make your system better, remove those biases. Yeah, I think that's my take on how AI can be your friend. It's not an enemy, it's a friend, first of all.
Okay, thanks for your wonderful insights, Abhijit. Over to you, Shubhendu, for your views on this particular topic.
Good afternoon, all. Myself, Shubhendu. I want to give you some basic needs of our own safety. Actually, I will not discuss too much after lunch because we know a little bit dizziness will come to our eyes. So, however, I want to address young students, because I have seen so many young faces right now. As per our religious view, I don't know whether I will go to hell or heaven. After a few years, I have to go to either hell or heaven. But the youngsters are there who have to serve to our country. They will have more than 20, 30 and 40 years to serve our country. So I'll focus something else on youngsters. Before that, I am giving some idea. Have you seen today's newspaper? Anybody else? Times of India, anything else? There are two cases of East Delhi. A businessman of East Delhi. I am talking about Delhi because we are sitting in Delhi. Businessman got a finance proposal from someone else, and it was very lucrative one. So he invested 2 lakhs. Ultimate 32 lakhs gone from his pocket, but he got nothing. Thanks to AI and artificial intelligence, and thanks to, we call it social engineering, through that way, he was convinced by some way to get double and triple and money. And actually, our greediness is there. For that reason, that things happens. Another case was there. Young lady was being pulled, that is called as romance scam in our terms. Actually, law enforcement agencies' terms is that romance scam, because when you have a attraction with somebody else of opposite gender through social media, you will be getting a lucrative offer. Suppose you have a friend of NRI people from UK, but you don't know whether he is a rickshaw from your own door. You don't know. But AI has given tremendous power to law enforcement agencies, researchers, as well as cyber criminals also. So there are different issues are there. Before going to a big details. Can you take a permission to have a slide? I want to show a slide.
Just go around that.
Okay. After him, I will show you a slide, and then we will discuss some case studies. After that, will discuss on next issues. Okay, fine.
Thank you everybody for inviting me here. I'm Colonel Vipin Bhatia from Hatfield. Hatfield, a detective organization. So before coming to rather challenges in this investigation field, as you know, from the AI perspective, I would rather begin with saying that AI is an enabler for security professionals, right? It's giving a lot of advantages to us overall. If you see, the precision which we are getting in our results because of the technology in IoT, in wearables. Wearables is a very efficient way of giving us excellent results across, especially healthcare sector and sports person. We know that how many sports persons, how many healthcare professionals are getting benefited because of this technology, emerging technology. I would say it does require a lot of emerging trends which are coming in, and because of which this is revolving. We are gaining a lot out of this, and even as a security professional, because of this technology, the integration has become much effective, right? If enabled correctly, integrated correctly, data analyzed correctly, and with the software driven companies taken into consideration, lot of challenges are being nowadays mitigated. I would say the invent of what we talked about, robots, right? It's actually giving a lot of benefits across the globe. Though there are immense challenges, but with every new technology, there is no doubt challenges will come, pain points will come. For that we are there, right? Okay. Before I hand over back to complete panel, I just want to talk about another incident of a car, right? This is an enabler for a lady and a gentleman also, AI. Most of the cars can be tracked. Am I right? Right? So a lady can come to know if she is suspecting her husband, vice versa. So that's how I said in the beginning that AI indeed is an enabler. Over to you.
Thank you very much for your initial tone. Just to the next level is we are talking of two levels of AI, and I think we have to segregate that AI part. Okay, one is AI which you talk always, and that is a predictive AI. That's what everybody is talking of. So don't confuse the AI as the whole AI. Put it in two buckets. That's the AI, predictive AI, prescriptive AI, cognitive AI. The other is a chat GPT. Chat GPT is not the predictive AI, it's a generative AI. Okay, it's generating the data. It's a new data which is getting generated. So you have to take it into two different buckets to identify what AI we are talking of. So here, presently we are talking of the predictive AI, what we are trying to do it. Generative AI is separately when we talk about large language models or chat GPT and other stuff. Right. Now, when it comes to AI, IoT, because the data points is all coming from IoT. And remember that there's one issue which is always there is who's the owner of data? Right? In the AI. Are you the owner of data? If the sensor is there, is the sensor which I am holding, am I the owner of data? So that's one question. And while AI is one of the best enablers, it is also the most dangerous technology, worse than even the nuclear bomb. The reasons are plain very simple. If it is a controlled development, it's worth doing it. The way it is getting uncontrolled development, right? That's why we are now talking of sensible AI, something like responsible AI, and controlling the whole AI development. So that whatever is happening in due course of time, it's all controlled. Even Government of India came up with not the regulation, just a paper where a directive where they told that let's have a responsible AI. Every company needs to tell what are they using the AI for. They should not go try and do something wrong which is destructive of the human scenario itself. Right? So AI, while we talk a very good part of AI, I'm one of the kind of primary entrants into the AI part since long, but at the same time, the security is a real concern. So one question which is to you all is how you look at the privacy and the security part concerning the AI. So, you want to take on? Yes. Anybody? You and you?
A good question. How when to ensure the privacy and security? There is a convergence of privacy. That means if you want to keep your data private, so you require some techniques. That means you require password, you require encryption, and there is another method is there that we call as data anonymization, data anonymizer tool. It is a new concept. India has copied it from other countries, advanced countries. However, I don't want to go to any debate. So, data anonymization. This is a part where we can keep our data secret. But now, as per DPDP rule, DPDP Act, you know that there is data principle, there is data fiduciary. If a parent cannot control data of his or her children on website or anything else, he may be liable as per DPDP Act for any violation of cases, anything else. Similarly for data fiduciary also, 250 crores charge will be penalty, where their penalty will be 250 crores. However, so issue is that now I can keep it a secret, as well as the second one was not only private also, how to run your AI-based tools. Okay. So the issue is that there is a legacy, and our legal department should have think of some course of action, and there will be some tools and there are some techniques. It will be discussed later, and there will be some techniques where we can use. There will be a boundary, and our legal framework as well as our techno-legal framework should be there to make it distinguished. Okay. It will be discussed later with some of my case studies.
Over to you,
I started my first job in 2010 as a management consultant. So I told my boss that, hey, the client is offering me a free lunch in a very 5-star hotel. So he was like, I was like, "Acha client hai ye to." So he was like, no lunch is a free lunch, right? And that's true for with all of us, whoever is using systems which have AI enabled, and the primary one being Google, right? So you might have, I mean, I have faced this. So I have been discussing with a friend about let's plan a trip to Turkey, and suddenly the Android TV starts showing me photos of Turkey. And the similar things have happened with my wife while she was browsing for something for shopping. Similar stuff has started showing up as ads. So what is happening at the background? They are taking your data and using the data to give you relevant ads, which is a good thing, right? Because if you want to search for something, you have to spend hours and hours to search for something. Vis-a-vis, somebody is giving you a relevant contextual ad. So what is the bad thing about it? So why are we so pissed about it, right? We are not paying to Google for the search. We are not paying to Google for the map. So we should know this. Right? As a community, we should know, as individuals, we should know that if you're not paying for something, you're getting a service, somebody will monetize that service in some form or the other. So your browsing history, your search, those are assets which you control, but since you're not paying Google for using those services, then Google controls it. Because it's a barter, right? It's a transaction. If you're not paying for something, then somebody else is the owner for it. So now there are certain laws around this, which is not currently enforced in India, but in US there are, where they have actually monetized the value of every person who has downloaded an app, let's say Google. So there are laws. They have said like every person is worth $1.5, and Google had to give a fine of, let's say, 50 million or something. So unless these policies are there, companies will always try to find loopholes and take advantage because they are giving you something for free. And in India, we love free. Everybody loves free stuff, right? So if you're getting something for free, you need to be aware that somebody is monetizing you for something. Now, when it comes to industries, when you're processing data, that is something you need not, because you're paying for that in B2B, you should run systems on-premise. You should not take systems to the cloud. You should run, for example, when you do video analytics, we recommend customers that, hey, why don't you take a GPU, a system on your on-premise, which sits in your network, all the processing happens there, no data goes out of your cloud, no data goes to the cloud. That way, at least you're protecting that if anything goes wrong, it will be from your office itself. You're limiting the liability to just your office or your people, IT team, whoever, and not to the external world. So you need to be aware of how much you'll pay for something. If you're not paying for a service, be aware of the fact that somebody will be using your data to do something. And comes back to my point that you need to be vigilant. That if somebody, you know that somebody is using your data for good as well as potentially bad, so how can you be more vigilant and have checks and balances in place so that you don't get duped or be a prey. So, but in terms of enterprises, you should always do something which is on-premise. For example, ChatGPT. When consulting companies are using ChatGPT, BCG has a tie-up with OpenAI. They have installed OpenAI's code on BCG's own servers. So that way, no data of BCG, which is the biggest consulting company in the world, has a lot of confidential data that goes outside their servers. So these are things which an organization you need to think about, be aware and make a right decision. Know the fact that there will be cost implications towards it.
I want to add a small part, that is when we will share something else, suppose as an end user, to go to a place, a shop, anything else, suppose I want to refuel my car when I was in a petrol pump, I was asked to share my phone number so that I can get some credit points. I have to register it. Then one point is that is called as PI, personally identified information. This is a term, and there is another term that is called as SPI. It is much more dangerous. When your information will be in such a way to identify yourself by a hacker or criminal, or even if a law enforcement agency has a surveillance unit. So that will be SPI. So you have to mark it, you have to do something else, and you have to at least prevent your data should be shared, not to be shared to be any agencies, business house or anything else. There is some techniques, there is some tools, as well as there are some legal amendments, and there is a good tool to your hand that is called as DPTP 2023. That will be discussed later. Okay, fine.
Great. Colonel Vipin, you want to show the presentation?
Okay, so
You want to speak first? You can.
just by the time opens, there are a few slides I'll just share. That will be primarily from the investigator's perspective, right? But what the data, data is a new. I think there is a terminology called data is new currency. Am I right? New oil. So you can understand, right? But if you think from the security and investigation perspective, don't you think that this data which is available to you is useful also to identify culprits, right? In a faster way, you are able to do a little more better threat intelligence, risk assessment. This is actually an enabler, right? So I think I'm talking too much of enabler. Let me come back to investigation perspective. Yeah, please. Okay, so there are a lot of mistakes, mishaps, and failures. I will not be sharing there are a lot of incidents. Everybody must be seeing this on the daily basis, right? But I'll be touching on the legal recourses also, and also some challenges and how AI is actually being adopted by the investigators. Next slide, please. So this is one of the famous incidents. This is actually I'm touching the latest incidents. I'm not going back to the legacy of incidents. This is one of the latest incidents of San Francisco, where Clay Thompson is one of the famous basketball player of NBA Golden State Warriors. So he basically after having a bad game, he just tweeted, if you see in the inverted commas, shooting bricks. So that is actually a slang for missing his shots, right? The chat box group actually, interpreted in a very wrong manner, right? And it wrote in their chat box that authorities are investigating the claim for several individuals who have reported their housing being vandalized, damaged with windows and all that, right? Rightly what Thompson did, he did not react to it, right? In spite of that, the AI generated headline, what did he say? That motive behind the vandalism is not clear. They did not agree to their mistake and nobody can do anything. Am I right? So it's very difficult to, there are laws which are actually lacking, right? I'll just come to the next slide. Again, we'll talk about some Indian incidents also. Come. Next slide, please. So Sachin Tendulkar also was a, latest, I think you must already be aware that he basically said that my daughter is earning a lot of money, right? Because of an online gaming platform, right? and even Rashmika Mandana, I think everybody knows. And so this was, and even now Delhi police has lodged an FIR for it. And there was a scam in Hyderabad where a nephew reached out to one old lady. Again, it's an AI generated voice, and 1.4 crore was lost by her. I'll just show a small video of Sachin Tendulkar. Next slide, please. Can you please play it? Niche. Okay. So it's not showing, but doesn't matter. It's not playing. But Tendulkar is not a Tendulkar, right? He conveyed everything that मेरी बेटी एक ये online game खेलती है. It is very popular in India. No, doesn't matter. Please, you can go back to the slide format only. So मेरी बेटी एक online game खेलती है, उससे उसको इतना पैसा benefit हुआ है, and it's actually not Tendulkar, right? Go back to the slide format only. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll just touch on few, important aspects from the legal perspective. However, there is a lot to discuss on this, but I'm just highlighting foremost important thing is about social media, right? All social media portals, once a complaint has been lodged, within 36 hours they are liable. If they accept a complaint, within 36 hours they are liable to bring that post down. If they don't bring this post down, you can sue them, right? There are a lot of Indian laws which are coming, and in fact, the Data Protection Act is also coming, right? And there is Section 66E of IT Act. It actually deals with capturing and publishing, images of persons on mass media, right? South Korea and EU, I have specifically mentioned why they've got very stringent laws for any deepfake video incidents. And they have huge punishments, they have huge, fines and even imprisonment this, right? So more laws would be basically maybe touched by him because he is master in that. Next, can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Okay, so there are just few challenges which are very common to all security professionals and investigators, right? There is a huge data. Whenever you are investigating a incident, because of this AI, you will see that you will have to, analyze huge data. And there would be a lot of encrypted data. How many of us are aware how to decrypt it? You need to have a specialized person along with you, right? Fake evidences. Once you are going and investigating, you'll be surprised that you will be actually, referring to some fake evidences, which even a client may not be aware, right? Crime scene authenticity could be, authenticity is doubtful. Digital forensics, why? Because forensics is a process-driven, software-driven activity, right? So they will only work on the data which is provided by you. Forensics will not be able to identify the authenticity or a data which could be fake or something. But they would do what they are trained to or what they are actually made for, right? Building trust and lack of confidence, yeah. Why? Because even the users are not 100% sure whether the AI application which they have installed, so I mean, if they don't have full confidence on it, how can an investigator have, right? There could be many incidents which could be multi-country domain. It could be linked. So you have to go by the law of land. Our law of the land, our processes could vary with some other country law of land, right? I'll just share one incident, one case which has come to us. I recently visited London, attended one seminar there. I was approached by one of the investigators. There is a porn site where a lot of Asians are, their faces have been mocked. So they have shared some sites with us, and they have told us to go and meet your law enforcement agencies, right? And let us know if somebody has lodged FIR in relation to that website. Because that company has already picked up a lot of complaints from Thailand, from China, from Hong Kong, right? And they are suing that company. So they are wanting more and more people to come up. Yeah, excuse me. A lack of qualified just go back. I think it is understood. It's an evolving technology. Being an investigator, being a non-technical person, you need to at least gain that much knowledge where you are able to investigate such kind of incidents. Though, of course, technical expertise would be part of it, but they may not have that much intellect, a kind of a legal or an investigator intellect. Legal recourse we just discussed, and data interpretation is everybody's pain point. That's what I feel. Next slide. So I just talked about, some enabler points also. These are 2-3 points which are there as an enabler. But again, I'll come back to being an investigator, I say whether can AI be trusted, right? And who wants to be the first early adopter of AI? Now again, I'm talking from the investigator point of view, right? There is a lot of transparency required between investigator and the teams from the client, which is actually giving us all the information, right? Users also need to have that much level of confidence to share their data. Thank you.
Thanks for your insightful investigation skills. And over to Shubhendu, I think you have to discuss on the case studies. What are the case studies which you have? So you can throw the light on that. Yeah, thank you.
Sir already mentioned that about digital forensics. Digital forensics actually for incident response. It is a task of incident response. If incident happens, then we can do it. Sir rightly told about digital forensics. How about the case? Start slide. Next one. Next one. Am I audible? Social engineering. Where the big players are playing with AI, cyber criminals, social engineering. Do you know anything about social engineering? It is a user awareness. Social engineering means I want to gain trust of you through social tactics. Though I should not be a trusted person. This is the terms of social engineering. Okay. There is your friend send you a strange message. Your emotions are heightened. That means you are already under cover. You are already under surveillance. Then the request is urgent. The offer feels too good to be true. You got a very good offer, lucrative offer. You want a job. Some students are there. They want a job. Some investigators want to get a very good offer. Then you receiving help. The sender cannot prove their identity. Next, remote access fraud. Or remote access fraud just like rat trojan. All the investigators, they should know that nowadays we are using rat through AI. Remote access trojan, rat, we are using rat. It is a kind of malware through which we can control a system remotely that is used through AI. So next slide, I don't want to spend much more time. Now the fake app. There are so many fake apps are there. I think you should know, the officers, the investigator and someone from law enforcement agencies, they should know that in Google apps, that is in our Google Play Store, there are, after an audit, we got that more than 250 fake apps, like real apps. How many of you, as an end user, want to identify it is a fake app or not? Any idea? Anybody else? Whether an app is fake or not? Is there any clue, anything else? Okay. Say a true app, a original app, are you observing that there is a very sign, CAS, that is a audit report is there, including the app. Are you visiting all the reviews, security reviews? I think no. If your student, actually younger students, they want to get a good picture, good selfie. I know everybody is loving selfie, taking selfie with their friends. So we are using a app. We are actually want to use a app through and unofficially. I want to say that most of the apps are using AI right now to get your details. When you are giving your permissions at each and every level, your app will compromise your system, your database, your contact details, everything else. Even if your encrypted WhatsApp data will be uncovered to that remote access Trojan. Okay, so this is the scenario. Next slide, please. How AI and ML used in cybersecurity. For the investigator, I want to say that we can use some technology, some tools through AI, where we can analysis a malware. For a malware analysis, we are using generally static analysis and dynamic analysis. For static and dynamic analysis, we are using generative AI, as I told already. Generative AI will give you a data, 10 data set, through which you can get data about and concept and anything about static malware database as dynamic malware database for vulnerability list. This type of tools, this type of technique you can use in future. Okay, next slide. Okay, time is up, and now I am giving a last. Go to the next slide. I will show you a tool which you can use to get a data is whether AI compromised or not. Because when a teacher asks a student to get data to make a presentation or to make a report, they are taking help of AI. You know, teachers already know it. How will detect it whether it has been used by AI or not? There is a tool, you can use copyflix.com. It is a site, open source tools, you can use it. There are so many proprietary tools are there. Through tools, you can put that data or image or anything else, you will get that reply that it is already compromised and used by AI. Okay, these are the case studies. Now I don't want to, because time is very short. Now,
thanks for all the inputs. Before we come to the end of the session, any questions from the audience? Yes, please.
Sir, I think you spoke in the beginning of the panel discussion that, you know, there is some kind of a gloomy picture possibly in the future with respect to AI barging into our lives, you know, without our control. So I just wanted to ask you this question on a lighter note. When is the judgment day?
Okay. A very interesting question. And I think everybody should be knowing about this particular question. Before the ChatGPT came in, that's around last 42 when we saw that, we were saying that it is anticipated that AI would take over humans by 2040. And that's a very scary year. It was 2045, then came to 2040. With the generative AI coming in, now that figure has come to 2029. And we are scared about that particular situation. That's why we are talking of responsible AI, we are talking of sensible AI, controlled AI production. So you cannot go gung-ho, you can't go overboard and create something which is devastating to the humans itself. So that's the place we are.
I can add to what sir was saying. So there was a show in Amazon called Person of Interest. Not sure if you guys have watched it. You watched it, right? So there you see good AI versus bad AI. So they predicted something like this even before Sam Altman started working on the first line of code of OpenAI, right? So we can always take some cue from what is shown in TV series or movies to imagine what can happen. Because at the end of the day, they're not, although they're fictional, but they have an element of realism in them. So yeah, Person of Interest, if anyone hasn't seen it, please go through Person of Interest. It's a long show, but you'll find it interesting and you'll get a lot of difference between a good AI versus bad AI. At the end of the day, these two AIs keep fighting with each other to dominate the world.
So for generative adversarial networks, I understand that there is a generator and there is a detector in every in each of these systems which is used for making deepfakes. But if I go online, let's say Udemy, I'll find only courses on deepfake creation, but none or next to none on deepfake detection. The last I checked, right? And there are around more than 70 plus app of deepfake detectors, but having researched on that, I realized that there are only 3 to 5 which are actually good, out of which there are only 2 which can actually detect a deepfake during a live video conference. So why is it that in security, why are we not teaching deepfake detection when in fact every deepfake has an inherent detector in it?
Okay. Fantastic question. I'll go a bit technical. I'll take you to year 2014 when the deepfake technology was actually came in. Everybody thinks that deepfake has just come now. And that was the fallout of one of the thesis report of a person called Ian Goodfellow. Right? He created an algorithm called GAN, Generative Adversarial Network. Okay? And that's how you create the deepfakes. And to create a deepfake, you practically required so many images to create a deepfake properly. and you have the generators, you have, you know, automators and other things. But to now re-engineer backwards to find the image which was there, you know, require 5x or 10x or 30x time more computing than what you used to create it, right? That is the catch. So you cannot have a properly generated, you know, deepfake to declare it and see the original image. That's the problem. So quantum computing, when it comes, we may, but otherwise it's a problem. That's why it's a man.
But there will be also a challenge. Keyword will come. In quantum, there will be 6 optimal value will be there, so there will be new challenges also. You have to keep your prepared for that reason, time also.
Yeah. Any other question, anyone? So just 45 minutes. Any other question, anyone? Before we wind up? Yeah. Last one, quick. Short and quick.
Sir, is there any policy by India for threats against AI or in
So
future?
I brought it out that there was a directive which has come up just before the elections in the month of March, where they started saying that you know, you have a responsible AI. Whosoever is developing AI in the country, they need to inform. There is going to be a body which is going to be created. They need to tell that what is the AI using. They are using, what are the algorithms they are using. I hope they are not doing it for any devastation. So that's going to come up. So that's a directive. I think after when the new government gets formed, it will actually come up in the proper form of law or whatever is act.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, and thank you for patient hearing. Thank you, my panelists, for giving me the insight. Thank you.
I express my heartfelt gratitude to the moderator and the discussants of the panel discussion 3, which was on AI, IoT and wearables, users information sharing for enhanced security. I would like to call upon Captain Manoj Kumar for the felicitation for this session. I would request Captain Manoj Kumar to felicitate the moderator, Colonel Dr. Inderjeet Singh Barara, DG CSAI. A huge round of applause. To Mr. Arijit Vishwas, founder Vojik AI. To Mr. Arijit Vishwas, founder Vojik AI. A huge round of applause. To Mr. Subhendu Chakravarti, Cyber Technical Advisor, EDCI. And to Lieutenant Colonel Vipin Bhatia, CEO, Hatfield, India. Thank you so much for joining us today. We would now proceed to the keynote address. Thank you so much.